what do you choose to go after? Because this HSBC story recently, they got fined by a record $1.9 billion for money laundering with terrorists and drug cartels. I noticed that Gawker did not touch that.
Yeah.
That seemed to me kind of like, this is a pretty big issue. It's not sexy enough for Gawker. Is that the issue?
Maybe not. Maybe not. Max, where are you?
Someone's slacking.
I didn't even hear about it.
No one heard about this? This is like the biggest fine in SEC history.
Yeah.
HSBC is a rotten
You got a
organization.
parking ticket.
Yeah. But there was that monkey in Toronto with donuts.
And you always go with monkey when you have the choice between whatever you just talked about. It really depends on just who you have on staff, and I usually kind of just, if I like people on staff, I trust what they like,
Yeah.
and go from there. And it's usually just kind of build on their instincts and then hope that they're right. I mean, there's not, I think there's some stuff that if we want to cover it, we'll do it one way, but I really don't have a person that I want to cover entertainment just for the sake of covering entertainment. Like I had like all these weird, arbitrary, random rules like when I first came here, just like I didn't want any more TV recaps, outside of girls, of course.
Yeah.
But,
That's important.
and no exclamation points was a really weird one. I just banned the word exclusive.
Yeah.
2 months ago.
Really?
Yeah. But I just wanted to get people to kind of have a little more freedom to kind of just take some risks with how they do things and not really feel like they had to be doing a Gawker voice or stuff that was done traditionally by Gawker.
Right. Got to shout out Adrian Chen here, I think, who's been doing a lot of investigative reporting on internet stories. This is kind of the beat that he's taken onto.
Yeah, which one's Adrian?
Adrian, full disclosure, former roommate of mine. So there's been a real push, I think. Gawker had that reputation of being the snark, gossip site. And then there's been a change to this really hard-charging, genuinely good journalism, investigative reporting. Has this been an initiative of yours?
Well, I always thought that you could have both on the side. I mean, I think it was kind of the same formula we used at Deadspin. And I think with the staff that was in place at Gawker, I just didn't want people to feel obligated to fill some sort of quota every day.
Yeah.
To write. And especially if they had something that, if they took a little more time with it, it could turn out better. I think now we have a staff that has the ability to do kind of both things at once, where they can just be funny and do traditional Gawker stuff, but if something requires a little more length, a little more heft, that can be done as well.
Yeah, and one of those things is you went out to Egypt.
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't...
What the hell were you thinking, man?
I was thinking, here's what I was thinking, was that I wanted to go to Gaza. And
then just did the whole tour.
Right, because I was following Twitter and it seemed like everybody was talking about Gaza. I'm like, what's going on?
Trending topic.
Yeah. So I had a friend of mine who was at the Cannabis Cup in Amsterdam. He's like, 4 hours away from Cairo. I think I might try to head to Gaza. And for some reason it seemed like a great idea.
Cannabis company?
Cannabis Cup.
Yeah, in Amsterdam.
At least you haven't been.
Well, that sounds like such a great idea.
For some reason, that idea really appealed to me at the time. I mean, I'd always had this fascination of kind of just thinking, can Gawker do coverage in hostile territories? Like, it's always been kind of a thing that if we can actually do that in some way, because I feel like that's the one section of media that Gawker's yet to upend at this point. So this seemed like a good opportunity to do it, yet I did not tell most of my staff, my bosses, or my parents that I was going.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Just took off?
Yeah, I really did.
What did you carry? What was your go bag there? What did you carry?
It was the saddest thing in the world. Mismatched socks, because I'm just throwing. Because the thing was, the ceasefire happened,
okay.
Right? And we were like, could we still go? And then about 3 hours beforehand, I was supposed to be at Thanksgiving dinner with my parents, and we were just going back and forth, like, are you still going, are you still going? And it was like, oh, shit seems to be happening in Cairo, and then, like, we went. I texted my parents, I'm like, I'm not going to make Thanksgiving dinner. And they're like, why? And I was like, I'll tell you later. But,
Thanksgiving in Tahrir Square.
Yeah.
Well, so you were in the thick of it. Was this like a war zone, basically?
Well, it was really interesting, because, I mean, we got off the plane, and stuff just really started happening as a half hour off from the plane. I mean, we had our hotel where we were booked. The cab driver took us there. there were people tearing apart a police truck in front of a hotel, so we had to drive around the back way, and there's a 14-year-old kid who had just constructed a barbed wire like fence. I'm saying he's a teenager or whatever, but and then the cab driver tried to take us back around the bridge, and then the tear gas went off, so everybody on the highway, the bridge, there was a crowd that started just like running over cars in Georgia, and then the cab driver was doing all this, you know, Jason Bourne style driving basically.
Yeah.
And finally gets us around the back way to the hotel, but the truck is now on fire, so we have to rebook a hotel. And this was in a half hour. I mean, and like, okay, well, yeah, this is, I guess, what we came for.
Might want to leave a tip on TripAdvisor.
Right. Yeah, but it was fascinating because it was so localized. I mean, just there was, as much as there was, you know, rioting every single day in some capacity, there were also tourism still existed. So everything was so, and that was fascinating to see that, like, people have kind of adjusted to this point that, you know, you can still go about your everyday lives, but, you know, the kids throwing rocks at cops.
Tourism, like the tour bus pulls up and they said this is the riot, and then people come out and take
It's,
some
yeah,
cameras.
I mean, it's just everybody, I think there were, where our hotel was, I mean, there was another hotel across the street where there was people sunbathing, and then, like, right below, I mean, there's, like, tear gas, there are rocks, there are people boarding up the windows. And, you know, you just peek out, check out what's going on down there, and just like, yeah, and then just go back to what you were doing. I mean,
It's wild.
Yeah, it was.
And I guess I was surprised as anyone to hear that the lead singer of the Smiths is now this hardline Islamic president. It's crazy. And worse than all people. Like, I thought he was like a vegan, non-violent guy, you know, real sensitive, emotional. It's
Every
crazy.
day is like Sunday, you know. So.
Yeah. Well, AJ, man, the writing you did on the protests is on Gawker.com, and every day you're pumping out new stuff. It's a great site. Love what you're doing. Good luck with the rest of that, and good luck with this sickness you got.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sick.
But get some ginger snaps backstage. AJ